Hey guys, welcome back. This is Chris with Marksman Shooting Sports and WeBuyGuns.com in Westfield, Indiana, and you are watching Marksman TV. Welcome back to another unboxing video. Now, as you may notice, Randy is not here with me today. He has actually been on vacation this week. He will be back next week, which is why I have been swamped and not able to get videos out for you guys. But I did want to get this one out for you. When Randy's back next week, we'll get the videos back in full swing. Plus, we did actually hire somebody who's starting next week too, so that's going to help out tremendously and allowing me to have the time to get these videos out and do the weekly used gun reviews some more frequently and stuff like that. In this video, I've got a bunch of stuff to go through. Since Randy's not here, I'm going to do this more in the style of the weekly used gun review, where I'm going to bring in the camera and just show over the table while I unbox this stuff. And we'll move through these things very quickly without giving a whole bunch of historical context. If there's anything in here you want to see more in depth or more detail on, I can reserve those for the next weekly used gun review, which I will have the time to do in about a week or two. So anyway, with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into this now. Okay, first real quick guys, if you'll bear with me for just one moment, I did want to make a mention of something real quick. Over the past weekend on our site, that's the retail side of the site, our system kind of encountered a weird glitch where it started charging for sales tax outside of Indiana residents, which currently we do not charge because we have not hit the minimum requirement for sales in all the states outside of Indiana currently. So right now we have no sales tax outside of Indiana. The site was adding sales tax to all those orders that were coming in over the weekend. Everybody who placed an order, I did contact, and we actually sent checks as reimbursements for those tax payments. If you saw something and then realized that the tax was being added and that dissuaded you from wanting to make a purchase, please keep in mind that has actually been resolved. Now, in the shopping cart, it'll still show tax, but once the ship to address has been updated at checkout, that tax will be removed. But we're working, our website quit communicating with the tax program that we use to assess sales tax. So sorry for that glitch. It's mostly corrected. We're still trying to fix the shopping cart issue, but just know that going forward. Okay, so thanks for bearing with me on that. First, just a couple things that came in earlier this week that I didn't get to. This one came in from a local customer. This is a Norinco Mac 90. This is one of the post-89 ban AK variants from China, where they had to add the thumb hole stock and the short 5-round magazine. No bayonet lug, no threaded barrel up here at the front either. This was after the 1989 sporting clause on imports that then President Bush Sr. had imposed on imports. So not as expensive as you're going to get on the true pre-ban Norinco and Polytech AKs. Again, I'm going to try not to go into too much detail and keep the video rolling along on these unboxing videos, but I have talked about Mac 90s on weekly used gun reviews before if you want a lot more detail. But that is the first one that came in this week. Okay, now next up is one that came in from the website WeBuyGuns.com. This is one of the new BRNO PSD pistols. Now, I actually have a full-length video on this. BRNO had actually sent me one of these about maybe a year and a half ago when these first released to the market. So I have a full 30-minute long feature-length video on this firearm. But essentially, it is chambered in 7.5 FK, which is a really hot round, can be used for hog hunting and things like that. And it does come with a conversion barrel to 10mm or 40 Smith & Wesson. This particular one is in excellent condition, as was stated by the seller. It comes, of course, with everything, the three magazines and everything. So, again, if you want more specific information on this pistol, go check that out. I can leave a link down in the description for you. But I did not want to miss the opportunity to just showcase this here quickly for you guys. And last up, at least until we get into the boxes, this is actually one I really want to do in a weekly used gun review video because I don't think I ever have. This is a Smith & Wesson Model 41. It is arguably the most collectible Target 22 pistol that Smith & Wesson has ever made. Tons of buyers and collectors on these, and unfortunately they are no longer manufactured. They have the Victory models and things like that currently on the market, but these are undoubtedly just a beautiful firearm. This one is in excellent condition, nice high polish, nice high sheen in the bluing, target grips, target sights, just a beautiful, well-balanced and nice 22 target pistol. So I'll get into way more detail on this likely in the next weekly used gun review. But let's go ahead and jump into the unboxing. All right, first up is one that came to us from a viewer in Georgia. Now, I went ahead and unboxed this earlier because the shipping box it showed up in was really beat up, so I quickly wanted to open it up and make sure the firearm was okay, and it is. So we're all good to go there. What this is a CMMG Banshee. These are really, really cool AR-type pistols. Let me get this out of the way. With the pistol brace, this one is in the sort of the burnt bronze coloration scheme, and this one is a 10mm. Now, the Banshees from CMMG have been on the market for a few years now, and they are likely, I would say, one of the most popular and sought after AR pistol types, competing in sort of desirability with like the SIG, MCX, and MPX type things, but people definitely love these. And newer generations come with these SIG compatible magazines. This one uses, I believe this one uses Glock mags. See if there's, yeah, this one uses the Glock. This is obviously the SGM tactical extended magazine, but the Glock mags, of course, work. So in the 10mm, you're looking at the Glock Model 20 and Model 29. But really cool, not much else really to say about it. This one, I would say, if we get into condition, customer says excellent condition. Looking at it here, I don't see, there's a little mark here on the mag well, but honestly, holding it out a couple feet away from me, I would definitely agree and say that this is in excellent condition. So anyway, very cool. Happy to get that one in and share it with you guys. Okay, next one up comes to us from a viewer in Virginia, so thank you for sending this one to us. I'm going to leave a piece of paper over the label since the camera is a lot closer, just to kind of keep a secret the identity of these sellers. But let me open this one, and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, here we are. This is a Canik TP9 SF Elite 1 Series, black, one magazine. This is a 9mm. For those of you who don't know the Canik line, they're actually based out of Turkey, imported by Century Arms. And these have actually, they started coming onto the market, I want to say, they started getting really popular about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, but now they are an incredibly popular firearm and a staple, especially in the entry level or the economy line, because you get really good, a really good package. You have interchangeable back straps. This one, yeah, there's a back strap there. This one's a very basic package, but I've seen them come with like 2 magazines, holsters. The SFX series has optics plates on them. This has the high-vis fiber optic sights, rear and front slide serrations, trigger safety, really nice large controls, reversible magazine release. A lot of features you get on these things, and they are not super expensive. On these videos, I don't really talk about price, but you should be able to, I mean, you get these for well under what you pay for a Glock, especially used. This one, I would say, is in excellent condition. There's really no marks, maybe just a little bit of a mark up here on top of the barrel, but again, that's very normal, and you're going to get that even if you, if it gets handled a couple times in a gun store. But yeah, I'm going to call that excellent, and the customer says excellent condition, so definitely on board there. But guys, if you haven't handled one of these or even thought about getting one and you're especially more budget minded, these are really, really good value for the money. So definitely worth taking a look at. Next up, we have one that comes to us from a viewer in California. So let's go ahead and break into this and see what we got. Okay, I went ahead and removed all the paperwork. What we have here, I think that's everything. This is a Thompson Contender, and this one, get that out of the way, this one is in 357. Really beautiful condition. The Thompson Contender, developed in the 1960s, was really meant to be a silhouette target type pistol. You could also use it for hunting. There's something like 60 different barrel configurations. These barrels can come off. The small one is the Contender, and the large frame, larger caliber one would be the Encore. It is a single shot. You pull down on the trigger guard, that pops open, drop in one round, bring back the hammer, and you have a really, really nice target type trigger. They also made these in a carbine configuration as well, so you could get the stock sets and the longer handguards, the longer barrel. So very versatile pistol that has, you know, been on the market, like I said, since about the 1960s. first developed in a garage by Mr. Sinner, and then he got together with the Thompson Tool Company to actually manufacture these pistols, and a lot of people have been collectors of them ever since. So looking at this one condition-wise, the bluing is beautiful, the wood is beautiful. There are some handling marks in the wood, so I would not call this excellent. I would probably say very good. Customer says very good also, so good. We are on par there, but really, really cool pistol to come from California, so very happy to get that one in and share it with you guys. Okay, up next is a couple boxes that actually come from the same seller in North Carolina, so let's go ahead and break into these and see what we got. All right, I got the paperwork out of this one, and very well packaged, actually. I feel like I'm playing Tetris. Okay. All right, let us see what we have here. This is a Mauser HSC. So obviously this box is not original to the firearm. Or is it, unless it came in through an importer? Don't see any importation marks, so no, he just used this as packaging. Okay. Yep, so I'll get rid of that. Looks to be original finish. I would have to take it apart to make sure it's matching. Magazine has had a replaced floor plate, but otherwise looks to be original. These are interesting pistols. You're going to notice it locks open. It does that either with the magazine inserted or not inserted. Sorry, I'll move that in. I know the other ones were not zoomed in that much either. What you have to do is insert the magazine and the slide will drop, thus chambering your first round. It is a double or single action. See, it's unsafe. There we go. Double or single action. I actually own a couple of these myself. Very cool pistols. As I mentioned, Waffen amp. These would be made by Mauser in about 4 different variations. Now, this would be a direct competitor to things like the Walther PP and the PPK. I'm getting a little bit too ahead of myself with information. I would actually like to use this in my next weekly used gun review, as I don't think I've had one before. I've had the commercial ones, but not a wartime one. There is a break here in the grip panel, which is actually pretty normal. You can see the way it's supposed to look. This is very thin on this side around here, so these areas of the grips would tend to break, so not unusual. As a wartime HSC, looking at the condition of this, there's obviously some wear marks. Again, there's a little break there in the grip. I would probably call this surplus good. High-end at good. Honestly, there's a little eagle marking here at the front. Let's see what the customer says. He says good, so I am definitely in line with him there. Nice little pistol. Let's move on to see what else he sent. Okay, and let's break into the next one here. All right, got the thing open, and very well packaged, as you guys can see. Let me get all this stuff off the table. All right, got it out of the box. I did not see any paperwork unless it's in here, and it's not. So I can get it off the system, no problem. Since I have his paperwork with the other one, I have his ID and everything, so I can get that logged in. American Classic. If you guys are not familiar, American Classic manufacture is very inexpensive, but very nice looking. And I mean, the slide on that's actually really, really slick. Decent trigger with a pretty decent reset. It's not a bad 1911, especially for a budget. These things, I mean, they rival like the economy line in terms of price on other stuff offered from like Springfield or Ruger. So they are not hugely expensive, but you get things like, these are probably Novak. They look like Novak or maybe a knockoff brand, but 3-dot sights, G10 grips on this one, skeletonized hammer and trigger. It's more of a 1911 profile instead of the A1. Extended beaver tail safety. You have ribs here on the mainspring housing here in the back. Front and rear serration. So a really nice loaded 1911 option, especially for somebody on a budget. This would be a really good option. Again, I don't have the paperwork, so I don't know what the customer rated this at. But by looking at it, I definitely wouldn't say excellent. There's just a few handling marks, little micro scratches that are noticeable. But I would definitely say very good. There is a takedown mark right here. I would probably say very good on this one. I'll have to confirm that when I look that up on the internet. But really cool pistol and a nice pair of handguns to get in from this seller. So thank you so much. Okay, next up we have one from Virginia. So let's go ahead and break into this. Okay. Get the paperwork out of there. Says GOAT, but it's a Taurus. Greatest of all time. All right. Taurus, what could it be? What could it be? Could be anything. I'm gonna zoom you guys in real quick. All right. This better be good, right? It is GOAT after all. 1911. You know, I like Taurus 1911s. Let's see here. We have paperwork and stuff, and it looks like 3 magazines. Let me get it out of here. Looks like an officer size. We are empty, and this is a probably a 45. Yep, 45 ACP officer. Very matte type blued finish. Features are, these look like Novak's 3-dot configuration, skeletonized hammer and trigger, extended beaver tail safety, Punisher grips, which I'm sure are not factory. Are the factory grips included? They are. So very cool. This is, I'll do the assessment in a minute. Taurus. Everybody knows Taurus is an inexpensive brand. They've come along with some really good products lately. I used to not be a fan, but once they moved to the United States, they had manufacturing here. Their customer service got a lot better. They offer a lifetime warranty on all their products, new or used. And they are very affordable. They do serve that lower end of the market, but with new things like the G2 and the G3 series and the newer iterations of that. Plus, I've always liked their revolvers. They are a really good, reliable handgun, and I am a fan. Now, when it comes to their 1911s, they've been making the PT 1911 series for a very long time. I have not had any bad luck with them. And again, for a nice-looking firearm, which is now stateside with a lifetime warranty, even on a used product, they are a good option, and they are very inexpensive for what they are. So, try the trigger on that real quick. I don't like the trigger. Long reset, very gritty pull for a single action, obviously 1911. It does have the plunger safety, so that's going to add a little bit of stacking. That was like a Series 80 type feature, but this is actually, let's look at condition. This is, honestly, holding it away from me, I'm going to call this excellent. There's really no signs of real use. Some excellent conditions. So let's see what the customer has said. Customer also said excellent, so I totally agree. And we are good to go on that one. So thank you so much for sending this one in. All right, guys, this one comes to us from a viewer in New Jersey. He actually sent us 3, so let's start here with this one. Okay, pulling it out of the box here, it is definitely a Ruger PC Carbine. All of that out of the way. What it appears to be with the scope. The scope is Barska, so it's inexpensive, but still cool nonetheless. It is only a 9mm, so you're not dealing with a whole lot of recoil or anything like that. Let me pull this out of here. Yeah, very, very nice. Just standard model Ruger PC Carbine. Now, one of the cool things about this, you guys are now seeing inside the box, some tools there, but this, see, Glock magazine, which they do not actually, 2 Glock magazines, which they do not actually come with new. What they come with new is this SR9 magazine, which fits into the magwell. I don't know which adapter he has in here. He's got the Glock magazine well adapter. They come with magwell adapters, so when you disassemble the firearm, you can actually pop this magazine well adapter out and pop this one in, or vice versa. This is the SR, this is the Glock installed. Clearly he used it with Glock mags, which I don't blame him. That's what most people are going to do. And get that back in there. But very, very cool. Let me get this out of the box and everything off the table, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So the PC Carbine, what a lot of people don't know is that these were actually released back in the 1990s when Ruger wanted to be introduced into the police market, where they could offer a handgun and a patrol rifle, a rifle that they could keep in their squad car that used the same magazines and same ammunition. That was the philosophy, which is a philosophy that dated back to the old Western days of having your 6-shooter and your lever gun chambered in the same caliber. So they were not very successful in securing police contracts or anything, and subsequently in about 1999 or early 2000, somewhere around there, these were actually dropped from production, but re-released into the market about 3 years ago. So they actually are a really cool, fun plinking carbine. Ruger jumped back on the PCC bandwagon when these started becoming popular again. So of course they already had something slated and ready to go, so they just refreshed the design and re-released it. It is a takedown. So you can, of course, lock the bolt back, turn that, and there you go. It is in 2 pieces, intentionally. So, really, really cool firearm. Looking at this thing, there is not really any major sign of use. So I would call this, honestly, probably excellent. So I'll take that, obviously. I think it's a little bit better than very good, but of course we're close enough. So very cool. I will move on to the next one he sent. All right, and in this one we have a rifle case with a scope. The scope is not something I'm familiar with, and something fell off of it. Oh, it's just a screw to nothing. Because all the screws are there, so I don't know where that came from or what it is. But very interesting. Let's see, Hawk, H-A-W-K-E. Not as familiar with it. I'm sure it's not super high-end, but let's move on to the rifle. It's the stuff I get the most excited about anyway. Oh, very nice. Very, very pretty rifle. That is a Savage Model 340B, right? So this is not factory. This mount was added. It looks like the stock was relief cut for this. If I am not mistaken, I'm not too familiar with these rifles. It is a 222, which is the precursor to the 223. Let's see. 222 is not something you find too often anymore, actually. Let's just look at the paper. Savage, yeah, Model 340B, bolt action 222. Let me get some of this stuff off the table and we'll look at it. Just realized what that screw is. A little retaining clamp on either side of these scope rings is missing, and that was one of the cross screws. The other one's missing too, so this would basically need new rings, or at least if those little retaining clamps and screws could be procured. But when it comes to optics like this, especially lower end ones, we don't really offer much more for them, and when we price them, we don't really put any weight into the optics either, unless it's something like ultra high end. But even then, when you put it through the website, we're not going to give it nearly as much value as it was brand new when paid for, just because you never know if the new buyer of that rifle, especially a higher end rifle, is necessarily going to want to drop $800 or $1,000 or $1,500 extra for an optic that they may not want, which puts us in a position of having to part out the optic, and we're not optics dealers. So little hint, like again, little things like this, not a big deal, but like super high-end optics on rifles, we just virtually offer very, very little for them. So good to leave that stuff off and just sell the rifle as is without it. But that's just a little sidebar for you guys. This is not something I know too much about. I know actually more probably about the 222 round. It's functional. I mean, it's solid and everything, so a scope can go right on top, clearly. Not much else to say about it, but there is that one. So cool. Happy to get that one in, and we'll move on to the next one. Oh wait, condition. I'm gonna say condition is good. You have dings here in the wood on either side. There's just a few marks in the bluing. The bluing's actually really, really nice. So I would just say good overall. So, oh, that actually looks like that was probably a sling. These are sling mounting screws that have been removed too. So it's kind of ugly holes that a sling mount can actually just thread into. So anyway, yeah, I would say good, and customer says good. So we'll go with that. This, I am assured, is a Henry. And let's see here. Oh, very nice. It is a 22. This is a model H001TM 22 Magnum. It looks like the rear sight was removed to fit, let's see here, this optic, which is actually a Nikon. Not a bad optic. It's a Pro Staff rimfire. I mean, they're not super high-end, but Nikon optics, they are not manufactured anymore. And that's why that sight was removed, because that was mounted on top of there. So condition-wise, there are 2 holes there. I don't know if that's factory where the rear sight would have sat. I can't recall. Yeah, it does look like that is factory. The rear sight would dovetail in here and then sit right over these holes to keep it in line. So let's see, rear sight, I don't think it's in the box, unfortunately. No, it is not, but that can be sourced. Excluding that, I would call the condition of this actually excellent. I can't see really any handling marks or signs of use on it. Customer says very good. So again, a little understated in my opinion. I would call this excellent condition without, of course, the missing sight taken into account, but there is that one. So thank you to our seller in New Jersey, and we will move on to the last box. All right, last but not least, this one comes to us from Missouri. So let me go ahead and break into this one. All right, got it out of the box here. We're in a nice hard case. And there's paperwork. Ooh, very, very nice. That is a Ruger. Something in there. Tactical Skittles, no scope rings. Bummer. All right, 5 Ruger branded magazines with a Scout style mounted optic, as the name would suggest. The let's see, safe is smarter than the gun. There we go. Okay, gun sight Scout. Beautiful rifle, laminated wood. Kind of this matte stainless finish, a very much Ruger style muzzle brake or compensator, if you will. Cool rifle, and this is, I'm sure, chambered in 308. Yes, it is. Beautiful, beautiful firearm. Not much else really to say about it. Bolt action. I believe it was off of the M77 pattern. It's a Mauser style action. Mauser style bolt removal system. Yeah, not much else to say. Actually a really, really cool rifle. Get that in there. Get the whole picture there, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at condition. There are very few to, if any, handling marks. I would actually, again, probably call this excellent condition. I don't see anything wrong with it. Let's see what the customer says. Let's see, I set the paperwork somewhere. There it is. Customer also says excellent condition, so totally on board with that assessment, and that'll wrap it up for this video. Well guys, that is all the time I have for you today on this one. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out this video. If you like this video, please remember to hit that like button. Please also subscribe to our channel. It definitely helps us out with the algorithm. And be sure to hit that bell notification button so you are aware when we are posting new content. Anyway guys, I'm going to leave you off with that. I am Chris with Marksman Shooting Sports and WeBuyGuns.com in Westfield, Indiana. You are watching Marksman TV, and I will see you next time.